Hey, AfterBuzzers, it's Rhavin with the V here. Joining us today, we've got Edyta Sliwinska. She's so beautiful. She's totally throwing me off. We're going to talk about America's Switch Up and how well our pros did with our stars. Coming up right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's week 5 with Dancing with the Stars, and the fans chose it. They switched everybody up, and let's talk about how we felt. But to my left, first and foremost, we have the beautiful, stunning, and talented Edyta.
Hey,
Thanks
thank you for having me.
Yes, let everyone know where they can find you and stalk you.
Oh gosh. Well, on Dancing with the Stars, first and foremost, I got eliminated, but I'm still there. And Twitter, Instagram, the regular stuff.
Awesome. Tell us about, before we get into last night, because you were there, which was great, so you can give us some great insight on that. Tell us how it was being Geraldo's partner and any challenges you might have had during rehearsal.
No challenges. He was just 72 years old and had a bad foot.
One bad foot? Just one?
Just one. No feeling in his left foot, I believe. You know what? It was actually, no kidding. I accidentally, on the way to rehearsal, heard his interview on Howard Stern. He was today on Howard Stern, and it just reminded me what a great guy he is. He's probably the most intriguing and interesting person I've ever met. He had about 10 careers in his life.
Right.
He is a legend in the news world. And actually to get to know him was a blast. He could not dance, and he knows it, and he feels so bad. Every time we talk, he says, I am so sorry that I let you down. And I say, you know what? I am so glad that I get to meet you.
Right.
And life is so much bigger than, dancing the cha-cha-cha. So we had a blast. Now I'm off. I can be here and I can do little dances, the group stuff, the opening numbers.
Yes, which we saw last night. Looking good.
Thank you.
Looking good.
And, and I can hang out with my little 2-year-old. So that's great too.
You can be with the family. Definitely, especially since you did the first 10 seasons.
Yes.
Coming back, being the original OG, one of the first ones to be the first 10 seasons. Did you feel slighted in a sense at all because you went home so quickly?
Here's the thing. There were few people that age on Dancing with the Stars in
True.
the past. Even last season, we had Tommy Chang, who's even older than Geraldo, and he went all the way to semifinals.
Right.
So the producers pairing me up with Geraldo, they had no idea how he's gonna dance.
Right.
They never know. There's no test run. There are young people that can't dance, and there are older people that can. So we were a good couple. We were a good match, personality-wise. We really got along well. So they did a good job in that department. Now, was I upset? Of course I'm ambitious, and of course I'm competitive.
That's normal.
But in a sense, I had such a long break, so I did my toes in the water. I tested it out. I liked being back. I would like to get challenged next season if I'm back, because it wasn't much of a challenge dance-wise. I couldn't come up with amazing choreography, spread my wings, because there were just few things that Geraldo could do. But we still really, I'm gonna, people should not feel sorry, because he's the most amazing person to get to know.
And he enjoyed it, and you can always tell he enjoyed it every time he went out there.
I
He
hope
had
so,
fun
yeah.
with it,
I think
always.
so.
And he always had good jokes to crack. So being that you were there last night, let's get into that. Wanya and Whitney, I got 3 out of the 9 correct. I guessed, the switching pairs last week, and I only got 3 out of 9, which I think was pretty good, being that, it's just literally off of my own judgment. Wanya and Whitney were one of the pairs that I guessed, or I would have liked to see them together. What did you think of their tango?
I thought kind of similar to what the judges said, that the choreography was quite difficult.
Yes.
I think Whitney really wanted to challenge Wanya, and Wanya is such a great dancer. But I also thought that it was a tough dance for Wanya. This is so not in his character. He's a fun guy. But I think he took it well. And also another thing is that they did a direct switch with Wanya and Vaughn. So that was the only couple where they switched both ways.
Right.
And it just proves how, the producers really do a good job, at least sometimes
Sometimes,
pairing
not
people.
all the time.
And I really think that Wanya has an amazing chemistry with Lindsay and Vaughn with Whitney. These are very good two
Right.
couples, and it's very difficult to replicate
Right.
in a week of training. Hello there.
Hey.
It is Faye.
Hi guys,
So
how
funny.
are you?
She said she knew a Matt
I
Paine.
did.
And was
I did know that.
Nice to see you.
introducing our other co-host, Matthew Evan Paine.
Yes, how are you
He's
guys?
in the building.
I am in the building. Better late than
That
never,
is
right?
Incredible.
Yes. So, going back, we were talking about Wanya and Whitney's performance.
Yes.
The first one, the
Should I
tango.
scotch or should we be like
Let's
hugging?
be as close
It's
as
been a
possible.
while. Let's catch up.
Be as close as possible. But definitely make
Nice to
sure
see you.
Great to
make
see
sure
you.
that's how you'll judge it right there.
Hi,
Make sure
everyone.
you're in the camera.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I felt that being that song selection as well might have been also hard as far as choreographing to.
Well, here's the truth about song selection. Very often, as cast members, we can suggest songs.
Okay.
But it's really up to the producers, and they kind of
They'll give
you
the
the
okay.
song, and and you, if you really hate it, I'm sure they will accommodate you. But most of the time, it's kind of, well, here's your song. We think it will be a great fit, and and you go with it most of the time.
Right.
But they are right, very, very often. And you also have
They
to
know what
understand-
they've been doing. They've been doing it for
They've been
22
doing it for
seasons.
That's
Yes.
crazy. I worked with you on season 5. I can't believe it's been that long.
I don't even, so long ago. That's crazy.
Another life.
It
I
does
know,
seem like another
exactly.
lifetime.
I know, it does.
Well, what did you think about the tango with Wanya and Whitney?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. They were sweet with each other.
Yeah, they were.
He's got a really nice way about him. Just
But
a
I
pleasure
could
to
tell
watch.
during the package, it showed that he was a little more assertive during rehearsal.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you gotta go a little slower. You gotta speed that up, honey. Or I could tell that he was kind of like really in his whole
element.
and he's like, this is how I would like to be taught.
Right.
One thing I wrote down, his lines seemed very crisp. Like the movements, they seemed pretty much on point. But I didn't get to see. I wanted to see Whitney do a little more.
Well, the problem with tango, with that particular style, is that you have to stay in close frame through almost the whole dance, and
Right.
the judges allow you, there are certain rules. They only allow you to open it up at the beginning and the end of the dance. So it's very restrictive. And also for Whitney, this is not the style that she was trained in, and that's her forte.
That's
like
good to know.
I'm majorly a ballroom dancer. She is a ballroom dancer, but she's most of a contemporary and hip hop and
That's
jazz
true,
and all the
actually.
other styles of dancing. So it wasn't. I just think it was a tough dance for both of them, and tough. It's tough to get to know somebody in a week and come up with the
Yeah,
routine and then
that's very
dance in front
true.
of 20 million people. So I think they did a terrific job, but
And Carrie Ann was saying that she thought that he had more chemistry with
Whitney.
than Lindsay, but
I didn't see that.
Wouldn't he necessarily wouldn't he have more chemistry with the partner that he's been with
absolutely,
for
that's what I was saying.
Right.
And they do. I think he has a better chemistry with Lindsay. I was
Lindsay.
saying
Right.
that with Lindsay. I was saying that the producers did a good job pairing these two up,
Right.
and Whitney and Vaughn has an amazing chemistry too. It's just, but also another thing is that tango is not a great dance where you can develop chemistry, because for most of the dance, here's the thing: you stay in one position and then your partner stays in one position, and you almost should be looking other way through the whole dance. So, hello.
Yeah, that's a lot to take into consideration, especially with the new partner, new chemistry, different moves. Well, with all that being said, 30 out of 40.
30 out of 40.
2 7s, 2 8s. I wasn't too surprised. I get that Max told him, his frame was off, how you're supposed to be still, the top is supposed to be still, but there's a lot of elements to consider. So
What I was surprised about was the dance that followed that, the scoring.
let's talk about that.
Kim Fields.
Yes, Kim and Keel.
I loved it. When it started, it was a little shaky. You know how Len will say he doesn't like when they faff about at the beginning of the song.
Right.
She was a little,
Too much theatrics.
Exactly. And I didn't love that, so I thought, I don't think I'm going to like this. And then the dance got going, and I thought she looked lovely and
I
graceful.
thought she was totally into it, and I thought this was the dance when she really showed her sensual and emotional side. And I actually loved it too. I understand that the criticism was that there weren't enough.
They said it wasn't
wall
it wasn't
steps.
Viennese walls.
Right.
And here's an interesting thing, and I told Kim after the show that in a way, Keo sacrificed pleasing the judges to make her look good, because he probably knew that not putting enough traditional wall steps, he's gonna get criticized. But guess what? He put the choreography right for Kim, and I thought she looked
nailed
amazing.
it.
She nailed it.
Everything was graceful.
Graceful,
Her
that's exactly
hands,
it.
Her reaches, they were so graceful.
When she hit that first movement with her hands, she
it wasn't
nailed
Barbie
it.
hands.
Nope.
It was literally.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Viennese waltz is another dance similar to tango when you're supposed to stay in a close hold. And later in the show, Sharna and Nyle did that. But they are similar height. Keo and Kim are probably a foot
That's
apart.
true.
Right.
And it would be very difficult and it would look odd. And Keo was right about giving her a different routine, although, Len was complaining.
And Max tried to throw in who he danced with that was a lot shorter than him in past seasons. He was not buying it, the height difference.
Right.
I really enjoyed it.
I don't think that he sold the explanation of the height difference. I could
He
see
barely
it,
had
but
a chance to actually sell it.
I think so too.
But I get it. I thought it was good. So I was really surprised at the 2 6s.
I was surprised that they
sevens at
scored
least.
lower than Wanya. I thought it was a better dance.
Yes, by far.
What did you think?
Maybe technically it wasn't better, but it was softer. It was easier to
Performance-wise.
watch, and in performance-wise, overall, it was a better picture
It was
to
better
look at.
visual,
Yes.
Yes.
aesthetically more pleasing.
Kim's got a terrific sense of humor.
Yeah, that's like our auntie we never had from Atlanta or something. Like she's
I thought that she did great, and emotionally, I thought that she really connected with that dance. And
I thought so too.
I agree. So
I'm a
the-
dancing expert now.
I know, how crazy. You've done the one season on Dancing with the Stars and you're an expert. I love it. I'm kidding, by the way. Don't take it.
I know.
No,
Not at all.
but with the 2 6s and the 2 8s, that gave them 20 out of 40. I was a little disappointed in the
was too.
scoring. But without further ado, the next couple that I guessed would be paired together, Doug and Peta. I really wanted to
How
see.
did you guess
I
that?
really wanted Peta because Peta's so good with Nyle. And with Doug, I see the potential. And I felt Peta would probably bring out another angle and dimension to Doug. So I wanted to see them together. I just got lucky.
I understand what you're saying. I think that it was a great pairing because I think that she's so compassionate and she wants to help her partner as best she can. I don't know that he has the potential. I don't think he's great. He's hard to watch.
No,
That's harsh.
I'm saying beforehand.
It's true. Well,
just
in my
beforehand,
opinion.
just guessing. I was hoping.
Too harsh?
No, too real.
Too
Real
real?
is real.
Real's
You can't-
real.
You
No.
can't hide that.
Yeah.
Spade is a spade. But with that being said, I do feel that he was less Frankensteinish on the dance floor with Peta than normal. So
My favorite part of the routine was Tom Brady.
that was not a part of the routine.
No, listen, I actually think that I really like what Doug is doing because although he's clearly not the best dancer, but he is what the show originally was about. It
Yes.
was about people that cannot dance, getting into a competition, doing their best and improving. And he is the most improved person in the competition, no matter how you look at it. All the other couples kind of go up and down, up and
And a
down.
lot of them have dance
and they are young and
experience, and a lot of them are
experienced
naturally
and
gifted.
athletic and he's he's now that Geraldo is gone, the oldest. He's definitely struggling with remembering step. He never danced before, and I think he's doing a terrific job. And yes, Peta is certainly more patient than Karina.
Yeah, you could
Karina
even
is a
see-
little fireball.
Right.
You could even see Peta counting. I don't know if you guys
Yes.
caught
Yes.
that. You could see her
Yeah.
counting throughout the whole performance.
So
and I'm like,
sweet.
"Aw."
Yeah, well, Doug said
Helping
that
her.
Gotta
this
keep
week
it.
was very relaxing for him.
Yeah,
He got a little break.
Yeah, got a little break
Yeah.
from Karina's craziness. Well, Karina is probably one of the best dancers in the world, but she has so much energy.
Right,
That
right.
being with her in one room, hours a day, I can see how for Doug, who is such a calm, and he's a very low-key guy.
Right.
Right.
These two are kind of like two opposites almost.
like the yin and yang. Well, one thing is he didn't forget any of his steps.
No, which was something that he feared during the
Right?
package.
He
yes.
did not forget any of his steps. And
Okay.
Peta made sure.
I have to tell you one
What?
thing. This is
Give
the
us the juice.
sweetest thing I've ever heard. So, Doug's daughter, she is in her late 20s. She used to be a dancer. And she learns Doug's routines every week, and she rehearses with him after
Really?
hours. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Are you
How
serious? That is the
incredible
most
that is.
beautiful thing
That
ever.
is
See, that's why
beautiful.
his story is so amazing.
Right.
Like, he is America's sweetheart.
And that makes me
Yes.
want him
I'm
in
so
for one more
rooting.
week.
I'm so rooting for him.
It
I
sucks that
love him.
he's competing against people that are naturally gifted or have some kind of dance
Yes.
experience, because I almost feel like those should be two separate little competitions.
Right.
You know, but I'm rooting for him, but I don't think he's going to make it far with the competition. But I love him as
Sometimes
a
those are
person.
the biggest surprises, though. They're the ones who last the longest.
Especially if his daughter is putting in the extra
Yes.
legwork after
he was-
hours.
It's terrific.
Yeah, he said this is such a bonding experience. He said he would never expect that, because obviously she's a dancer, but he never thought she would be that much involved.
That's a
that she
whole
would actually
other
learn the
experience they're
routines
getting
and-
together
Yes.
Yeah.
I love
outside
that.
of this.
That's really cute.
Oh my
The
God.
inside scoop from Edyta.
Exactly. And that's why it's beautiful to have you on with us
Which,
today.
by the way, welcome back. It's so nice
Thank
seeing
you.
you on
Right.
the show.
Thank
Right.
Yeah.
I had
Did
a
you
long
see her last night,
break.
Yes,
too?
I did. Yeah.
Working it. She
Yeah.
literally just stood out. Just,
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
saying.
you.
Yeah, that's the only thing that
I started
hasn't changed
cheating.
is that you're still the standout dancer on Dancing with the Stars.
Thank you.
Kudos. So, Doug and Peta,
Yes.
7s across the board, 20 out of 40. I think that was fair.
And then they had that little dance with the James Bay song, Let It Go,
Yeah.
in between. I love that.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes, I
it was
love
beautiful
James
with
Bay.
Artem and Jenna.
Yeah. That
He's
was
so
hot.
handsome.
He is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny.
No.
I'm married. but,
I,
you know.
yeah, I
See,
want to come
real
to the
is
ballroom
real.
to see him. Yeah.
Well, we'll have
love
to
it.
get
Handsome.
there.
Yes.
We'll definitely have to get there.
Okay.
Next up, we had Ginger and Mark with the salsa. What are your thoughts with Ginger and Mark, Matt?
I loved it. I
Yeah.
thought it was terrific. She blew me away. I thought that I wasn't expecting it. I love when her husband came into the studio and he said that Mark was like a nice glass of Merlot and that Val
The
was
dirty
a dirty
martini.
martini. So cute.
I think that was super fitting.
Yeah, I do too.
Actually.
He didn't deny it.
He didn't. He seemed a little surprised that it came out of his mouth
Right.
about him, but
Yeah.
he was like, all right, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be that.
They seem to have fun together. I like the dance. What about you?
Fantastic. I thought it was fantastic. I thought they would be. It's another couple that, you know, if they switched, if that was a partnership from the start, they would do terrific in a competition.
Right.
But I think that Ginger, she's such almost a role model. I talk to her. I love her very often when we do makeup and she's such a smart woman and she's juggling so much. She's still working and she's having this 3 or 4 month old baby. She's in such a great shape and she's also someone who doesn't have much experience and she's really picking everything up. And what I love about her is that whatever she's not, although she's really doing a terrific job, if she's maybe not the most athletic in a competition, she makes up with her personality and charm.
Yeah.
I
Right.
think she's so.
That's what I was
so
gonna say, because
charming.
there was a few times I felt like the timing was a little off, or I could have used a little more looseness for her, little shimmies.
Right.
But because of the performance and her bubbly
She's
attitude,
so bubbly. You keep
I
taking the
can't
words right
not-
out of my mouth,
I
right?
can't not like her.
No,
Like,
and
I just-
Carrie Ann said
very
she's like
likable,
liquid
yes.
sunshine, which is
Yeah.
true too. Yeah, she's fun to watch.
It wasn't my favorite performance from her.
her?
It wasn't, but I can't not like her because she's just a breath of fresh air
Right.
every time I see her, and her attitude is so positive
right.
all the time.
Which will
Yeah.
get her far in the competition. I
think
think.
exactly,
so.
exactly.
And then Mark, amazing choreography. I love his every week he comes up with a killer
super
routine.
creative.
Very creative and very fitting to his partners because Paige is very different than Ginger, and he put a routine that really worked well for Ginger, and I loved it.
8s across the board.
Well done.
Very well done. 32 out of 40,
And then we had the NFL player Antonio Brown with his new partner for the week, Karina.
which was my third guess. I got this one right too.
Really?
Yeah, I only got 3, but I'm really happy that I got 3.
I surprisingly didn't even go in with opinions.
Really?
Yeah, I just kind of.
I just thought who I wanted to see with each other.
Right.
And
I think maybe I expected Jody to be with Val.
yeah, maybe that one too.
Right.
But bouncing back to you saying how Ginger was juggling so much.
Right.
Everyone's juggling a lot.
Right.
And
Agreed.
going back to Antonio and Karina's package, him being an hour late,
Sounds familiar.
and she's checking, and she's like, "Yeah, that sounds about right."
Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
no surprise.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
well, everyone's facing the same challenges.
Everyone's struggling.
So
Right.
I felt like that was like a bad look.
Right.
That wasn't a good look.
Cameron Matheson was juggling a lot, and he was always on time.
He was,
For the most part.
I think, yeah. I think he's a bit of exception. He's
Right.
always so on point, and he's so good at what he does. But with Antonio and Karina, I thought they, by temperament, like the personalities and charisma, I think they were a very good match. And I actually was surprised that they got such a low score because I watched them in a rehearsal and I thought they were terrific. In the show, they brought even more personality.
Right.
And then all the judges complained about lack of basics. And let me tell you, I've been in the ballroom business for over 20 years, and there were plenty of lockstep and Cuban breaks and basics and you name it. I have no idea, literally, what were they talking about.
Right.
I thought it was great, and I thought that Karina really brought a different side of him too. So
I just thought it was so much glitz and so much glamour, like his bright jacket, like
Too
Max
much.
said. It was too much. Yeah,
Sequins.
exactly.
It was blinding
Too many
at first.
props, yeah.
The backflip, was the backflip, front flip. I think it was a backflip.
it was a backflip, yeah.
Okay.
Backflip.
Pretty somersault. I don't know what to.
The flip, with the sequins, and it was just a lot going on for
was a
me.
lot.
And I feel like I love glitter. I will be the first to tell you, I love to sparkle
I'll
and
be the
shine.
second, right?
Okay, but it took away because I'm trying to watch the steps, and it's just glitz and
It was
glam.
too much.
I don't agree with the judges when they said it was too much like bumping and grinding, but I could see where they would, if they're being technical. But I wish they would be a little more consistent in how they judge every single couple.
Right.
I wish so
It's
too,
not fair
because
always.
if you watch the routine and you watch Nyle and Peta in week 1, they did cha-cha as well. I mean, speaking about grinding, and don't get me wrong, I loved it. I really did.
But there was a lot.
That routine, there was a lot of stuff
And he
going
was
on
doing
too.
it.
Yes, and it was my favorite routine in the show. Actually, I'm just saying, you
Antonio's was?
absolutely Nyle and Peta
Oh,
in
okay,
that
yes,
first episode.
right.
That was my favorite routine. So it's not like I'm comparing negatively. No, I think they both
way
were
they
so
judge is
good,
not
but they were
consistent. It's
not
exactly.
consistent.
They never
it's a
pointed
little
out that
not
there was too
fair.
much sexy booty action in Nyle and Peta dance.
Maybe
so.
because it's like a big black dude doing it, so it just looks more aggressive. Like no.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? But it never seems fair. It never seems like they're judging them on the same things. I think Len might be the most consistent.
Yeah,
I
I think
think
that's why it was good
Just
to
always
have.
grumpy.
That's why it was good to have. I think Max too, because he was like super strict
Yeah.
with how he was judging.
And like
everybody.
he said, thank God I'm not judging the finale.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because he also said, amazing performance, which I feel like it was a great performance. It was very glitz and glamoury. Not enough content.
You thought it was a great performance?
That's what Max
okay.
said. He was saying amazing performance, not enough content.
Content.
Yeah,
I'm with
not
him.
amazing content. And
I
Lynn
know, I
said
usually
short on
disagree with
technique.
Max, so I'm not gonna comment.
She was like, I'm biased. No, you speak your piece. You speak your piece here at AfterBuzz.
No, I
Tina.
loved it. I'm saying I thought it was a lot of content in terms of basic. I thought Karina Smirnov, the ballroom champion, she would
Hello.
not allow herself not to put enough content.
Right. Well, maybe they just didn't see past the glitter and the sequins.
Maybe the jacket was so blinding.
Or
that-
maybe they were just full off haterade. I don't know.
They had a 26 out of 40?
Yeah,
Is that
26 out for 2 6s from Lynn.
that
and
was
Lynn
the
Jr.
lowest score of the night. I can't believe that. So
I can't either. I think there were a couple that
They could have switched,
yeah.
in my opinion. But yeah, moving along, Paige and Sasha with the rumba.
Well, first of all, I love that song, "Perfect" by One Direction.
Yes,
Loved
yes.
it. Let's see. Oh, that's right. She was.
So they got pretty low scores, and I know that Sasha was disappointed about that. And again, it almost seems so repetitive. Not enough rumba steps, and
Right.
and it's so inconsistent because they were rumba steps.
They
He was
were rumba
doing- they
steps.
were.
There was sex appeal to it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought she was. I thought she had the biggest change so far of the season.
Right.
He noticed right away that she doesn't make eye contact. And she said, "I don't trust people."
Right.
And by the time showtime came, it
She
was beautiful.
she
It was
all
magical.
into
I
it.
thought so too.
Right. She was looking
couldn't-
at him. She was gazing at him and touching his face. And Len knocked that, and that I disagree with.
Yeah, that was a good point because in the package for rehearsal, you know, she talked about how she's not that girly,
Right.
and
Fooled
the
me.
outfit, the dress,
Peach.
flowy, the curls,
Yeah.
bouncy. She was as girly as I'd ever seen her.
Lovely, sexy.
Yeah,
It was beautiful, I
it
thought.
was very, and I love their chemistry.
Me too.
I love them together.
At that point of the show, that was my favorite. That was my favorite
Yeah.
dance up to that point.
She is such a beautiful dancer.
She is.
She has so much. For a tough girl like her, you know, they showed that footage in the first episode with her bloody nose, and she's a tough
Right.
cookie. And here she comes out looking
never
so
know.
soft and beautiful. You
Soft.
will never know.
You would never know that she could Mortal Kombat your butt all the way to the other side
Right,
of the room.
right outside of that
Just
ballroom.
watching her
Yeah,
dance.
I loved it.
It's beautiful.
And Max said she was capable of winning the show, and that was my thought.
Oh, I
too.
think she is.
Yeah.
She has pretty much the whole package. She not only has the skill.
Right.
I think she has some kind of dance experience.
She does. Her and Ginger a little. Just a little.
Just a little.
Just a titch.
She does, and but I think she's improving, and she's showing different sides of her personality, and she's developing her ability even further. And then her personality, she really opens up, like you said, she really connected with Sasha, and I think she really has a capability of winning it.
Right. Len
She's the
said
one
she
to look
lacked
out for.
emotion. It killed me when he said
Yeah.
that.
He said work on selling emotion. I was
Right.
like, excuse me?
Sorry, what was that?
Maybe you
Right.
should work
Come
on
again.
selling your emotions.
Right.
But it threw me for a loop because Max saying you have the capability of winning this and still gave her a 7.
Right.
So, I mean, all 8s except for him, scoring them 31 out of 40.
I think they could have done. I think they deserved higher scores.
I do too.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, we have Jive coming up next with Vaughn and Lindsay.
I think
What
my-
is that big breath?
I do that. That's like my trademark breath. You know that I've got something to say. It was my least favorite of the night. He looked like
I wasn't
Steve
a big
Urkel to me.
fan
It was-
of it either.
It looked like they were having fun, but it wasn't fun for me to enjoy.
Oh, it was robotic.
And it seemed like he wasn't moving that much in the beginning. It seemed like she was doing a lot
Dancing
of it.
around him.
Yeah, and I was just kind of like, pick up your feet.
Did you catch the high kick though?
I don't know. Let me see.
He did some sort of kick in the air, and it was like
I did see that.
I don't know.
did see
Well,
that.
but you see, here's the thing. Jive is a tough dance. You would think that Vaughn is obviously extremely athletic,
He's
but
quick
it's a
on his
tough.
feet.
He's quick on his feet, but it's tough to put that quickness in a rhythm in specific steps. And he's a big guy too, and that's difficult for a guy like that. I danced with a couple of. Cameron is very tall, and I
Right.
danced with Jason Tiller, who was 6'6", I think. Jive is the toughest dance for them because you have to quickly change directions and you have to be quick on your feet in a different way than on a football field. I don't know what's the difference, but it's very different. And I think
Right.
Lindsay was very clever in showing his athleticism because he did like the kick and low and a lot of jumps and stuff
Right.
like that. And she kind of stayed away from the basics.
Which
That's
was a
why
strategy. That was a
right,
strategy.
probably it was a strategy. Smart because it looked good on him. But that's why there might not have been enough content, and it didn't quite look like proper jive, I would say.
right, and I can see that. I thought it was one note the whole time
I wasn't
through.
sure what they were gonna be judged on.
Right.
In whole because it was just a lot going on. But I do the strategy that she took probably was
Yeah, but you know
because
what?
if they did something else, it might have been
Might have been even
judged
worse,
yeah,
right?
harsher.
And another thing is that I'm gonna repeat myself. I really think that Vaughn has amazing chemistry with Whitney, and Wanya with Lindsay.
Right.
And that's why it was
The switch up.
good. But it just proved how good they are with their original partners.
Right.
So that means we expect them to go harder
And
when
I
they get their
thought
partners back.
I was surprised too because I thought Vaughn's performance deserved a lower score than Antonio's.
What score did he get?
29 out of 40, and
They got
Antonio
all
got
7s
26.
and 1 8.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't see why they got 6s, Antonio. I mean, like I said, I represent the super fans that enjoy the show for
Right.
the performance.
Yes.
So it's good to hear the technicalities, the
Right.
content that's being judged. But that's why I'm like, I think they should have gotten a higher score, Antonio and Karina. But if we're getting down to the nitty gritty and we're talking about content, then they should judge everybody like that every single week.
And
Every
they're
single
never, ever
person.
going to. Right.
That's just my thoughts.
It could bring tears to your eyes. Like the next performance, which I actually surprisingly got choked up at the very end.
It was worth
beautiful.
choking up over. My
Nyle and
ANTM,
Sharna.
Nyle and
Nyle and
Sharna.
Sharna. So
My
beautiful.
ANTM, America's Next Top Model family, they were in the building, and I talked to a few of them, and you could feel the emotions. Like, you could totally feel it.
It
So
was
imagine just being there.
Right.
And just taking all that
You could
in.
tell everyone was choked up when they got their scores and they went back up. Oh, we should talk about the dance first, but it was just
It was a lot.
Chilling.
And I always said from the beginning, now Nyle has exceeded all expectations.
Right.
I've always been curious to see him dance a slower dance.
Right.
Because he's really good with the quick stuff. And so I was surprised and very pleased that he was so soft. His lines, his hands. Well, sometimes he had Ken doll hands. I noticed, he would kind of do this.
right.
But overall, the dance.
Overall, it was great.
It was really nice to see him, taking his time. Because I'm used to seeing him rush.
On season 6 of Dancing with the Stars, I had the pleasure to work with Marlee Matlin, who is also deaf, and it's amazing how they hear nothing and can pick up the choreography.
Was she fully deaf?
Yes.
Okay. Because that's what someone kept asking me. I thought she was able to hear something.
Vibrations.
Was it
vibrations.
vibrations?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was quite amazing because from technical point of view, he improved so much. So he did a rumba before with Peta, and that wasn't a great dance.
Right.
They got pretty low scores. And now Vinnie Swallows in a character similar. It's quite different technically. And here he obviously showed great improvement in the fluidity of movement and connecting one step to another. So that was great. And Sharna is obviously an amazing choreographer. So she
Yes.
brought it out of him. But I think the most important thing about this performance, and I think that's why people got so choked up, was that he proved that he can communicate to anyone, that yes, he has this amazing chemistry with Peta, he's doing so well, but then here Sharna comes in, they don't know each other, they have to work to that barrier of him not hearing, and she does such an amazing job with
Right.
him, and he can understand her and he can feel her, and I think that just proves how people who cannot hear, they can register so much more than the
excel in
words
so many other
can
different
express.
categories and
Yes.
senses.
It was beautiful.
Very inspiring. I'm rooting for him. If I'm rooting for anyone to win, it's probably
hands
it's
down.
probably
Yeah.
him, yeah.
Hands down.
It was a tearjerker. Will you please explain what happened with the scoring last night with them?
Yeah, because all these little chicken scratch, I was really pissed
And then
off.
they cut to commercial. I was so confused. I was upset, really.
But why would they do that?
Okay, well, I would like to tell you that the producers give the scores and then the judges,
You're right.
just whatever. I don't think that's the way it goes.
I don't think so
Basically, what happens is that in the end of the dance, one judge writes down the score for each of the judges. So like they would, Max would tell, I don't know who it was, Karina, or he would say, they would all tell to that person what score they're going to give.
Okay.
They would write it down, and that's the
they
score
pass
that
it up.
goes to go to control room, because obviously it takes time to put it on the screen, right? To
gotta
pull out
be
those
ready.
numbers. And then I guess in a spur of a moment, the judges changed the score. So they originally put 9s, and
across the
then
board?
they switched to 10s.
They should have just put those
And-
10s in the beginning, if that's
Yes,
how they
if
felt.
they did that, it would work. But I guess the numbers that are written down, that's the one
That's the
that
official
count.
That's
number?
the Bible.
Yes.
Can't change it.
No.
That's the
That was
rules.
disappointing, though.
But
I
has
mean,
that-
they still had the highest score of the night, right? Nyle and Sharna, they had 37 out of 40?
Yeah, I believe
Oh,
so.
no, Jody and Val did.
Oh, we're going to the end. Well,
Oh, wait.
They needed to. I don't know. Sorry, that was my favorite.
Jody and Val was your favorite?
Yes, yes. Wait. Okay.
Okay.
We're done with Nyle. 37
Yeah,
out of
other
40.
than they got robbed from 2 points, I think.
They did.
He was wonderful.
They did.
But yeah.
And I saw the biggest transformation in Jody. For me, I don't know, is that Ukrainian influence?
There was chemistry.
And I love Keo.
Right.
But I do feel that Val really took her to a whole nother level.
She knew it, too. It
I
was like,
really feel like he did.
right,
Yeah.
you were saying Karina gave her, or who was the partner that gave her partner a break? I just lost it.
Doug?
Yes, Peta gave Doug a break,
yeah.
from Karina. I felt like it was the opposite for Val and Jody.
Yeah, well,
He snapped her right into shape.
Man.
from what she told me, it felt like she didn't have a good week that last week.
Right.
She got very low score for herself, and I think she danced cha-cha. She wasn't happy with her performance. She thought it wasn't the greatest, and she felt like she needs a shake-up.
Yeah.
And the switch-up was a good shake-up for her in general. So I think Val brought the best out of her, I think.
100%.
And she really opened up and she really connected to that dance. But it was a good shake-up for her, and I hope she's going to keep that momentum when she gets back with Keo.
I hope so too. Do you guys think that she would still have been that firecracker with a different partner versus Val and versus Keo?
No.
I totally agree with
Yeah,
that.
I think the only other person that she would have had that with, if he were competing, would have been Max.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Val did what no one else could do, and I think, like you said, she needed the shake-up.
Maybe she needed a shake-up. And also, I'm not in the rehearsal room, so I don't know how Keo really works with Jody and how Val works with her. And maybe sometimes when you learn something, it's very valuable to hear almost the same thing from a different perspective and from a different person. It's when we get coached. One coach just works for you and the other doesn't.
Right.
And or one coach just needs to say something in a different way. It's those things you never know, but good for her because she is a great dancer, and I thought she was underperforming, and I do love her, and it's so great to see her on the dance
I didn't know
floor.
she had it in her just from watching her the past weeks.
Right.
But do you think this puts more pressure on Keo now for next week?
I think it puts more pressure on both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was her best performance, and she has to live up to it if she wants to keep going, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, but I also think she gained confidence.
100%.
And she feels so much more comfortable
So
with
it'll be
herself,
easier
too.
for her to give 110 for the next.
I think so.
the next rehearsals.
I think so.
And Max said that Jody reminded him of Sabrina Bryan, which
He did.
was back in season 5. Yeah.
Oh no, she got eliminated way too early.
Right.
That's exactly
Yeah,
what
she
he
did.
said.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he said. So that was beautiful.
Interesting.
And Lynn said from lemonade to champagne.
I loved everything about the performance except for the song. I thought that the dance was so powerful, I didn't think that the song kept up.
That's a good one. The only thing that I wouldn't say rubbed me the wrong way, but that face she kept giving.
Oh, that's it. That's what I mean too. It didn't match the song. It was too aggressive.
Okay.
Although I know that it is the Paso Doble.
Right.
I don't know. The music.
She might have get stuck in the expression for a little bit too long, but it's tough.
But
when
I
you,
will take that expression
when you,
if that's what's coming
when
out
you're
of it.
so in it,
Absolutely.
it's so tough to sometimes control your face. But I think it. I told Jody, hey, they saving best for the last, and I think they did. I had a couple of my top performances that night, and that was definitely one of them.
For sure. For sure.
Jody and Niall's performances, I think, were my favorite of the evening.
Yes. And
Yeah.
and Paige. I liked Paige.
Paige was good.
Yeah, so all 9s with 1-8 from Lynn, of course.
Of course.
Lynn's got to throw in his
No.
little wrench. 35 out of 40. So that was our highest score of the night.
She didn't deserve an 8. I thought it was too good for an 8.
I thought it was all 9 worthy,
Agreed.
hands down.
Yeah.
I mean,
so she had 8 and 3 9s,
mm-hmm.
and Nyle
Niall.
had
he had
4 9s. So he had the highest score.
Oh no, 3 9s and a 10.
yeah,
Actually, Lynn
so-
gave him a 10. So Nyle got the highest. He definitely got the highest.
Yeah, I
Yep.
thought it was I liked their performance.
Lynn pulled
better.
out his 10.
There was
Paddle,
some.
okay, that was very
Yeah.
like historical right there for this season right now.
Yes.
So Niall can say I got the first 10 from Lynn.
I
From
also
Lynn a 10.
I think it was a little bit in a light of all the other performances, because he was complaining so much about other people not bringing the basics of the dance, and they really did. And on top of that, they did everything else. So it was not only technically very correct, and the choreography was very proper for the dance, but it was so emotional and so beautiful and almost game-changing because it was so sensual for a person that can't hear and with a new partner. So it was amazing. I would give it a 10 too.
Yeah, most definitely. What did you guys think about the score? Well, what did you guys first think about our guest judge, Max? He's judging his brother. He's judging his fiance. I mean, there was like a little bit of controversy wondering if he was going to judge anyone easier or harsher. How do you feel that even went down?
I thought he was pretty consistent, and I thought that he was fair with his judging of Val and his partner.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. Sometimes when I watch Max, I don't love how aggressive he can be, but I actually thought, all in all, he was fair.
I think he makes great television because he's always so controversial.
Yes.
So he initiates a discussion.
Right.
People will talk about it, and people will either love it or hate it, and that's a great quality for TV. Most of the time, I disagree with him, but that's not the rule. Just this time. This is the first time I watched him judge the competition. I haven't seen, I think he's done
credited
it before.
as a ballroom judge or something like that.
But on Dancing with the Stars, I haven't seen the episode or when he has done it before. So this is the first time. And I disagree with him with Sasha and Paige and about Karina and Antonio. So I was kind of... that was weird. But so with Len. I mean, very often I disagree with Len too. So.
And he was basically Len Jr. last night.
He was repeating Len's comments a bit too much. So yes.
He came for the strict technical judgment.
Absolutely.
And that's what he was there for, and he was going to make sure that that's what he got across.
And in terms of fairness, I mean, he was judging his brother and his fiance, but then you had Julian Hough who was judging her brother.
And I think she's pretty fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I mean, I don't think it matters that much. I think, at least I didn't notice anything, I mean...
Like she's not picking favorites, or Max wasn't and Julianne wasn't, I don't think.
Right. I think the judgment in terms of the people that we considering his brother and his fiance, I think it was pretty fair to them. However, I must say that it must be natural. It's just natural that you want to judge your fiance better. So here's the thing. I'm sure he's going to be fair enough to not give her or his brother 10 when they deserve 7. But if he's between 8 and 7 or 8 and 9,
they're getting
he's gonna go.
Yeah.
They're getting 8.
Yeah,
They're getting the highest
yeah.
score, and it's so natural. So I don't think it's if anything, it's his fault. It's the producer's choice, and they thought it's a good idea, and I hope it helped them with ratings or whatever they wanted to achieve.
What a thing. She's so funny. Like, I hope it helped the ratings because...
May have.
No, tell it like it is. Tell it.
I'm
like
very
it is.
realistic.
That's what I like about you.
And for the performance with Peta, Max gave Peta and Doug 7.
Mm-hmm.
So
everyone else did. I thought it was pretty.
It was uniform for that one.
That's what I'm saying.
And before he gave Nyle, his score and everything, he was like, "I know you will." Obviously, he sees them a lot when they're rehearsing and everything, and that made sense. I mean, beside the discrepancy of wanting to give him a 9, but then a 10 and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that all made sense. So he just came on the field and decided to blow his whistle.
So would you want to see him as a permanent judge on the panel?
Can we just have him dance again? Is he over that? Is he over that?
Is he over dancing?
No, he's not. Doesn't he do a tour or something?
No, I mean on the
but
show.
Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, you'll have to ask him.
He might feel like he might be like, "Nah, you should have me on there as a judge."
I don't know that I want to see him every week as a judge. I think it's a nice treat when we have him in the ballroom. Why did Julianne leave? I feel like I should know that, and I don't. Is she off the panel?
That I'm not sure of.
Okay.
Sorry.
I think she just left to pursue other
things.
opportunities and other things.
And it was fun having her back for a little while.
We'll probably see her again, I'm sure. But
do you want to see Max back on the show?
I just want to see him dancing. I just want to see that body. I just want to see him dancing.
All right.
I appreciate
How do you really feel?
That's how I really feel.
How
Okay?
about Derek Hough judging?
Yes.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
That would be a nice little switch up. I would like that.
Yeah.
See, and I think that he would judge fairly because I think Derek's pretty much the biggest perfectionist.
Then Julian. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm just asking
That's
you.
That's a good question.
It's very difficult for me to look at the show from the perspective of someone who's not in it and who's not behind the stage. So it's very interesting to hear your opinions. But I'm sure this is a thought to consider. I think that would be very interesting. It's the same whether he would do great or not, or fair or not. It's a great television because you would tune in to see it.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the
It
same
would be
thing.
fun to see what his niche is as a judge because, you know, Carrie Ann's more like fluffy. Bruno's more about performance and, you know, the attraction and, you know, when he's standing. Lynn is more strict on content.
Well, I'll tell you who I would really want to see on a panel. The person that I would really want to see. Maybe I would not bring so much buzz to the show, but it's Mandy Moore. It's the choreographer that choreographs all the opening numbers and all the bumpers.
That Disney night was...
she does it every week. She's the orchestrator of all the group dancing and the extra stuff that you see. And
okay, we need to write some letters.
Yeah, we should start tweeting immediately.
Let's go ahead and get that popping. Mandy Moore
would be quite amazing, and she choreographed a lot for So You Think You Can Dance as well. So I would love to see her and
that would
hear
be a
her
good
opinion.
one, actually. It's like a guru then.
She would be.
Would you judge if they asked you to?
I don't. This is such a tough question because, you know, you're talking about judging your brother and judging your fiance. I would judge my friends. You know, that's
right.
I wouldn't.
Like it's nothing.
And I would want to know that. No, that's actually very important. And one of the reasons why I came back to the show is because I miss the people. I really want to reconnect with these people. And how do you not get someone upset? You have to criticize.
It comes with the territory.
All roses. It does, and you have to be hurtful to someone. And like with Max, people will always disagree with you. I disagree with him, and people would disagree with me. It's a very tough position to be in.
And as much as we love Carrie Ann, Len, and Bruno, we disagree with them too.
Yeah,
absolutely,
we do.
Absolutely. So you have to. It's a very, very tough job. Would I do it if I was asked? I would probably do it for a challenge of it because I think it's so challenging.
Yeah, I can see that.
I have a question. Do we think that Carrie Ann fakes those tears sometimes?
Or do we just think she's extra sensitive?
No, I think she's just so sensitive.
And trust me, I adore her. I've been a fan of hers since what?
You're coming for her.
I'm coming for you, Carrie Ann. No, I just think that sometimes I don't see how she gets so emotional.
You see, this is very interesting because the experience that you get as a viewer on TV, it's very different than what you get in a ballroom. And that's another thing that sometimes the discrepancy between what the judges see and what you see at home might come from because they see it differently. First of all, they sit on one side. They see only one side. They see it only from one perspective.
That's true.
As a viewer, you see it from
we get
multiple
the bird's eye, we get the rotation.
Camera angle. Also, the camera make you look better because you can hide certain things, but also it can show more of your shortcomings. So they get a little bit different view, and I think that's why you might not feel her emotions. But when you're in this room with, I think they have about 1,000 people in the audience nowadays.
Yeah.
And there's such a dense atmosphere.
There's so much energy in the ballroom.
So much energy. I think I would be, if I was in her spot, I would be crying at least a couple of times last night.
Well, at least last night.
I cried at home. Well,
most memorable year.
I got choked up at home. Niall's performance.
Yeah.
I can't stop talking about it. I loved it.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that's today's after show.
Who do we think's going home?
Oh gosh. Who do you think? I'm thinking.
I don't want to say. I think it's Doug.
I
Probably
think
not because he has so many people on his team and in his corner.
I think it's Von Miller.
I could see that too. Who do you think?
You know, Vaughn has probably a huge fan base. I mean, he's the MVP of the year.
Of the Super Bowl.
And we know that football players has gone so far. I mean, by score, it would be either Antonio or Doug, right? Are these the lowest scores?
28 and
it was
Antonio
Wanya.
was 26.
Gosh, I really don't know.
I don't think Antonio's ready to go home.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think it's Vaughn.
It really depends on
I
the
actually think
fans.
this is an amazing competition because there is no clear winner, and there is no clear couple that should be cut right at this point. And the further we go, it's just going to get more difficult.
Right.
It was a great show. Thank you for having me, and thank you for coming.
Yes,
Thank you so
thank
much. It was so
you.
great to see you, Matt. Oh my goodness, I can't
It was
believe
nice
it.
seeing you
It's like
too. Tell
back
the
to the-
fans where they can find you on social media.
All right, so I'm on Twitter, Edyta_Sliwinska, Instagram, Edyta Sliwinska, Facebook, Edyta Sliwinska Official. It's all Edyta Sliwinska.
Awesome. And Matthew, let them know where they can find you.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mr. Matthew Evan.
And maybe we should have you come back a little more often.
I would love to.
And that's your after show. You can find me at B Stays Busy, Bizzy, all over the place. I'm Rhavin with the V McSweaney. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Thanks, Robin. Thank you, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.